Hey, welcome to Not the Top 20 podcast. This is the Monday pod. It's a League One opening weekend recap, and it's brought to you by Loaded. In League One, Stockport dock in Plymouth Port and beat Argyle in style. Luton giddy as Gideon makes Royal sick despite Jack's hat-trick. Huddersfield get Darren silly with it. Wednesday win thanks to Slattery's flattering backside. And Bromley win their first ever third-tier game. No pun there, just well done Bromley, your first ever third-tier game. And you won it. All that and more in this episode of Not the Top 20 podcast League One recap. But first, George, some big news.
Yes, big news, exciting news. Loaded are the new title sponsors of the Monday pod.
Yeah, Loaded is a digital game store, and it used to be known as CD Keys. It's been around for a while, but it's had a rebrand. It is Loaded, and it helps players get more gaming for their money on games, memberships, top-ups, and other digital gaming products. It's got an amazing 4.8 star score on Trustpilot, and what's clear is that Loaded offers unbeatable prices on games, on memberships, on vouchers, and also offers a quick, easy, and reliable purchasing process, which is exactly what you want when buying games. And in fact, our producer Rick just told us that he's been buying his games from Loaded for years.
A man of sublime taste. They're also front of shirt sponsor for Derby County, which is really exciting. And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, these kits look excellent, especially the one in pink. I think you look rather fetching in, Ali.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting couple of months. I'm very into Football Manager. I'm very into EA Sports FC. These are games I've been playing basically my whole life. We've got a new version of each game coming out over the next few months. The rest of 2026 is going to be packed with new games for me. I've always fancied myself on both Football Manager and EA Sports FC, so I'll be diving in head first, giving some brief and hopefully fun, entertaining updates each week on a Monday pod. But not just playing on my own and telling you guys about it. I want to add some competition and community as well. And so we're introducing the NTT20 video game challenge. Later on in the episode, we'll give more details. But in short, I'm managing Derby County to Champions League glory on Football Manager 2026. And I want you to do the same and take me on.
And I'll be making a few signings on your behalf.
Yeah.
But we basically became friends, through a shared love of football when we were kids, but actually really it was a shared love of Championship Manager 2001-2002. There were three of us in this friendship early on, me, you and Toe Madeira. So it feels like a nice full circle moment that we now get to talk about the game and play the game as part of our sponsorship with Loaded.
Yeah, we've actually got a WhatsApp group with two mates that's still called the CM Army. And we want you guys to be a sort of gaming army for us over the next few months. So please, step one, join the Discord community linked in the description. That's going to be the place, the kind of central hub for all of our updates and community challenges, and where you can get involved and post your own updates as well and take me on. Basically, we're really excited to be partnered with Loaded for the Monday pod, and we hope that you guys will get involved as well. Yeah, sometimes difficult to know where to start after an opening weekend where basically every game has some appeal to us to talk about, but I think actually in League One it's probably the easiest of the lot. I put it to you, George Ellick, that Stockport County going to Argyle and winning 3-1, but not only that, the manner of the win and the performance as well, pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. This is a Stockport team who have been knocking on the door for a couple of years, and after failing to win promotion out of League One last season, Dave Challoner, the manager that has led them on this merry dance through the EFL, stepped away. And when that happens, it's pretty common for that to be followed by a drop-off. Mm-hmm. And often the next manager who comes in will struggle to maintain the levels that came previously. And it's always incredibly impressive when that doesn't happen. It's part of the reason why I think the job that Alex Ravel has done at Stevenage is so impressive, having taken over from Steve Evans after a similarly meteoric rise. It's Jimmy McNulty, who is the new Stockport manager, replacing Challoner, who led Rochdale out of the National League last season. And for him to go away from home and beat one of the favourites to win this league, the team that we had first, now on to 24s, 3-1. And that 3-1 scoreline isn't flattering them at all. They were 3-0 up and deservedly so in the game. The goals themselves, Jack Diamond down the right-hand side, cuts onto his left foot and hits a deflected shot to make it 1-0. Then for the second, Alex Mitchell, the Argyle centre-back, is kind of carrying out from the back and is dispossessed. The ball's worked out to Diamond on that right-hand side again. He crosses. I like the commentator said it was a 3-on-none, which was basically because Diamond was ahead of the play and the two, Wootton and whoever else was in the box, were both behind play and ahead of the defenders, crossed in, and they nearly made a mess of the finish, but eventually Wootton managed to turn it in. Wootton back playing up front after his spell playing at centre-back at the back end of last season. Evans then missed a really good chance, a header that he put over the bar, and then Murphy Cooper, the new Argyle keeper, saved well from Wootton and then saved well from Diamond to keep the score at 2-0. But then Evans plays a really poor clearance out the back. It's picked up by Diamond, who passed it out wide. Oh no, I think it's out to Bate, who passed out wide to Glover. And Glover cuts onto his left foot and scores. Ryan Glover, new signing, who came in from Barnet, having been one of Barnet's best players in the National League again last season. So this is all good stuff. You know, you're looking at like Diamond, who's going to have to step up in the absence of others this season, especially Louis Barry gone, him having a big game. Wootton back up front, scoring. Glover, the new signing, scoring. Xavier Mechi scored a really nice goal from the edge of the area late on, just to get Argyle on the score sheet. I think for Argyle, you've got to look at this as being a bad day at the office against a team who were very good and who could be very good, and try and, you know, move on from it. We saw how poorly Argyle started last season. They have to make sure that doesn't happen. Really interesting to see that that Mitchell was subbed off at half time. Cleverly asked about it. He said he had plenty of reasons why he thought it was the right thing to do. It feels a bit reactive in the first game of the season to make that kind of bigger call, especially having signed him off the back of a really good loan spell last season. But either way, this is all about County. Just really showing the likes of us and other neutral fans that despite Challoner being gone, they are still a force to be reckoned with. And immediately they go from being a team where you're like, well, how are they going to do this season, to Bat being a side you can probably expect to be towards the top end of the league. Yeah,
and I know that internally Stockport were very excited to start this season and basically show off what we saw here. There's a lot of belief internally that what they've done, well, the manager they've hired in McNulty, the change to this style, the slight tweaks in recruitment, I guess, or the players they brought in would, it was very good pre-season vibes, put it that way. And that's the sort of thing that a lot of clubs say, particularly when they've appointed new managers. You're generally going to be feeling positive about that early on, and so I generally say, well, I'm going to need to see it on the pitch in competitive football to believe it. This was a hell of a start for that. Kyron Gordon, the right centre back, Harry Wood as well in the left-sided number 10 role. Good competitive, or rather league debuts. Harry Wood, just as a note, he used to play for Hull City, or rather he came through at Hull, never quite made it there. Loans at Scunny and Grimsby, but he's been at Shelbourne for the last couple of years in the League of Ireland. Helped them win the League of Ireland under Damien Duff, and we know a guy who's a Shells fan, who messaged me when Wood moved to Stockport and said that his pain levels were Jack Moylan times 10. Jack Moylan having left Shells for Lincoln a couple of years ago. So that suggests to me that Harry Wood is probably going to be pretty damn good. Hell of a start to the season for Stockport County and Jimmy McNulty. Now, what happened at the Madstad? Reading 3, Luton 4.
Wow.
Bloody hell, where to start? This genuinely was more like a fun in the sun end of season game between two teams with nothing to play for than an opening game of the season. So much good stuff and so much questionable stuff as well for both teams here. I'm going to start with Jake Richards. He scored the first goal. Like, if this is going to be a normal thing for Jake Richards to do, we need to get unbelievably excited. Yeah. He has just turned 19, lefty midfielder who's now kind of moved out to the right so that they can get him in the team, because frankly, he's still worth having, even if he might be playing in a slightly unnatural position. But of course, with Luton at the moment, if you've got Walsh, Clark, Casey Palmer all fit and available, they basically have to start as the midfield three because their points return as a trio has just been so good. Richards gets the ball, combines well, cuts inside and fires home, left-footed edge of the box. What a start to the season for him and for Luton in the away end. And then it's Marriott. A hat-trick for Jack Marriott, who last season had one of the hottest finishing streaks we've ever covered, helped Liam Richardson make a really good start to life as Reading manager and overperform some fairly average underlying numbers, then got injured. Reading at that point then tanked to finish the season without Marriott. Starts the season, scores a hat-trick to put them 3-1 up. Some good finishing in there, some questionable keeping for one of the goals scored from range. Shout out to Kyrese Lisby as well on his debut for Reading. Gave Cal Naismith an unbelievably tough time. Naismith disappointed that a few bits of physicality from Lisby weren't given as fouls, but frankly, mate, you've got to be stronger than that if you're the fullback, you're the defender, and Lisby looked really good. Marriott just incredible, really. Since the start of last season, he has the best EFL minutes per goal record, 96 per 6 minutes per goal. The next, miles off it, Ellis Sims, Vipotnik at the 126, 127 minutes per goal mark. So Marriott just unrivaled right now in terms of his finishing in the EFL. But Luton have good players too. From 3-1 down, they win it 4-3. Casey Palmer at the double to make it 3-2 and then 3-3. The second one in particular, delightful play from Jordan Clark, flicking it around the corner to Jake Richards into reverse pass, nice run from Nicky Wells, and then right side of the box, could get a low shot off, instead rolls it across for Palmer to tap in. Just really nice football, which I'm hoping to see lots of from Luton this season under Jack Wilshere. And they won it at the end. Gideon Kodua hit the bar. Richards gets on it and taps it back across to Kodua, and the second time of asking, he finishes well. So Luton pretty positive in the main, outside of essentially some wobbly defending from Cal Naismith. I mean, the fact that they can bring Kodua off the bench is pretty exciting. Callum Marshall, I'm looking forward to seeing getting more minutes as well. As I say, just quite a lot to like for both sides. Marriott and Lisby for Reading. Quite a lot not to like, I think, defensively for both sides, but definitely the most entertaining game of the weekend. We were both keeping a pretty close eye on Leyton Orient against Sheffield Wednesday. George, you in particular thinking Orient could really make a big jump up the season, sort of get back to normal, if you like, under Richie Wellens. So you were watching this one closely.
And Wednesday as well.
And then, of course, all eyes on how Wednesday look in the sort of the Stork era.
Yeah, basically kind of two teams I'm looking at pretty positively. Wednesday, I like.
It was 2-1 to Wednesday, I should say.
It was 2-1 to Wednesday.
Should have given the score.
And Orient, a team who I think look, they are very different to last season, and I think they're going to have a good season, and I still do, despite this 2-1 defeat. We casted some doubt over Joe Lumley's, suitability,
shot stopping,
and he made one incredibly good save early on in this game, getting down low and a Cambridge shot and powering it away, and getting it out of danger as well. So credit to him for that, because if we're going to cast doubt on goalkeepers that make good saves, we should mention it.
Absolutely.
El Mazzuni had blazed a decent chance over the bar before that. So Orient were on top. But then Nathan Baxter, I think at no fault of anyone's, the Orient keeper, tries to boot a clearance away. Callum Slattery does well to press him, jumps up, hits him on the bottom and flies into the back of the net.
Just sort of karmic justice and reward for Sheffield Wednesday and their fans for everything they went through over the last 18 to 24 months.
And some good pressing.
Sometimes you just need one to go in off your arse.
But when you often see goals like this, it comes like right in front of the goal. And it's like, if it just hits him, it's probably going to go in. This is like from a tight angle.
It's a great finish.
And it spins into the goal. Like it's an amazing...
He obviously angled his butt cheeks just perfectly.
Yeah, but as I say, I'm not going to blame anybody on the Orient side. I think it's just a freak goal and you've got to accept it. And then...
It's the first time I've said butt cheeks for about 29 years, I reckon. Brilliant.
What do you normally say?
Bum
cheek.
Bum cheeks. Oh, I'm just not often talking about...
Really?
Butt cheeks, thinking about it.
Interesting.
I've gone red.
Each their own. We have controversy.
Okay.
And for the Orient goal, there's a nasty clash between Jay Scabia and Sil Svinkles.
Mm-hmm.
It's two fantastic names. It doesn't look great in the replay. I don't think it's necessarily deliberate from Cabia, but there is very much an arm into the face of Svinkles. Svinkles goes down and has blood dripping from some part of his face. And so therefore the referee stops it, not for a foul, but stops it because it's a head injury. There is then an uncontested drop ball where Orient immediately, as the ball hits the floor, a cross is clipped in, Cabia flicks it on a low is at the back post to prod home.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Quick thinking. Yeah.
Is it okay?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say yes or no, but it's important just to point out, for the sake of Sheffield Wednesday fans, that is something that happened and they feel aggrieved by it.
Do you think, like, morally, you shouldn't be able to cross it straight away from a drop ball?
I think there are many occasions where a team would recycle possession rather than just be direct.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything, mate. Don't try and make me say stuff. I am just outlining what's happened. I'm presenting facts.
Splinters in those butt cheeks.
Yeah,
from
correct.
Me, sitting on the fence.
Then something happened. And
Cool.
I feel bad for saying this, but we have to. James Morris was subbed on in the 61st minute.
Let's talk about James Morris. Let's be
Watford
factual.
Watford fan.
And then move
Watford
on.
fan Charlie Zazera in the corner shaking his head as I mentioned the name James Morris, former Watford Academy graduate who I remember very clearly a lot of Watford fans were very excited about when he first broke through. He's looking now confused. Left back comes on in the 61st minute. He gives a penalty away in the 67th minute for tugging Jamal Lowe's shirt. It is a penalty. Lowe converts the spot kick. A couple of minutes later, Morris then plays a pass back inside and it's misjudged, and Gray has his shot saved that comes directly from that pass back. And then about a minute later after that, Morris then tries to head the ball back to Baxter and get it all wrong, and Barry Bannon nips in, rounds the keeper, and remarkably for someone of his quality, well, actually there are two ways of thinking of this. Remarkably for someone of his quality, he drags his left foot shot wide. Unremarkably for someone who is so incredibly one-footed, rather than just passing the ball in with his right foot, he decides to hit it with his left foot, and therefore, because he's moving the other way, drags the shot wide. Like, you choose which way you want to look at it. And then James Morris is subbed off after 73 minutes.
Yeah.
It's one of the most unfortunate 12-minute cameos you're going to see. I feel for him. I hope he's okay. And I think Wellens probably did the right thing, hopefully, to take him off just to save himself rather than giving him a big telling off. Dobra had a huge chance to level it at the death, which he put wide. Orient will come away probably thinking that they did enough in the game to get something out of it, but also Wednesday missed chances that were provided to them by the Orient substitute left back that they passed up to make the game safe much earlier.
Yeah, great start to the season for Wednesday. Great start to the season for Bromley. They've come from the other direction, up from League Two. They went to South Yorkshire. They went to Barnsley. They won 1-0, their first ever game in the third tier. But winning it in a very classic Andy Woodman Bromley way. Backs to the wall for periods of the game, defending their box pretty well, staying alive, keeping the score close, and then nicking it when the chance arose. Like, I need to be clear, Bromley had some fortune here. They were fortunate that Barnsley couldn't finish their dinner. They were fortunate that Barnsley have got to a situation where their squad has so many weird holes in it, particularly at the top of the pitch, that they were playing Reyes Cleary up top to start with in this game. They didn't have proven penalty box strikers, and it showed. Lots of good positions, lots of nice build-up for Barnsley. There were aspects of their performance that were pretty good, but not enough final ball quality and no proper striker to finish the chances. It's a very young Barnsley team, which I'm excited about in some ways. I am still concerned that things could unravel, but I have to be excited about 8 of 11 players in the team being 23 or under. It means that there's a lot of talent on show. Ali Kay, the one that I want to bring up here, he played at left back, son of Anthony Kay, former EFL-man. In fact, Anthony Kay was still playing in League Two in 2018-19. Wow. And now his son's playing in League One, which is pretty unbelievable. This game was mostly Barnsley, pressure and opportunities. The biggest chance, just after an hour, Cleary sent through 1-on-1, and he tried to dink it. And it's just one of those where you just think, Reyes, mate, just slide it into the corner. That's what a striker would do in that instance. He's tried to be a bit too clever, a bit too cheeky. You know, that is the sort of player that he is. But Shamal George didn't buy it and just stayed where he was and caught it. And then not long after the winning goal, it's very, very Bromley. It's a long free kick, pumped forward. It's knocked down and Ethan Archer takes a long shot, dragging it well wide, but it basically hits Adebayo, who diverts it in. Now, he is former Barnsley striker, so insult to injury there. Barnsley don't have a striker starting in this game. Their former striker, who I don't think they particularly rated at the time, but would probably now, break a neck to get Adebayo back in, scores the winner against them. So, as you can imagine, pretty bad atmosphere after that at Oakwell. Great scenes from Bromley to see it out. And, they had 4 new signings in their starting 11. So I say it's a classic Bromley away win, but I want to make the point they have been quite front-footed in trying to refresh things and add quality. There's Camille Conte sitting in front of the defence in midfield, standing out. There's Shamal George looking good in goal, and 4 new signings off the bench as well. So Bromley have actually added quite a lot, and it's a really positive first result for them.
This is an advertisement for Incogni.
Yeah, the idea that companies or criminals know more about you than they should always makes me uneasy, but data brokers do collect and publish personal information such as your name, address, and phone number. Incogni helps remove your personal data from such sites and databases.
Incogni handles the process for you, sending requests and follow-ups across more than 420 data broker and people search sites, and allows you to track the progress.
Yeah, I signed up for Incogni about a year ago, and since then it's just been working away in the background. At my dashboard shows 170 completed removal requests.
No way.
170.
Wow.
And Incogni estimates that submitting and resubmitting those requests myself would have taken 127 hours and 30 minutes. So I'm pretty happy with that.
You do not have that much time to spare. They can't harm you if they can't find you. Get 60% off an annual plan at incogni.com/notthetop20. That's 20. Or using code NOTTHETOP2020 with a 30-day money-back guarantee.
That's incogni.com/notthetop20 using code NOTTHETOP20. Yeah, let's get stuck into some League One home wins from opening weekend, starting with Huddersfield 3, Wimbledon 0. George, I put it to you that we have a challenger for Jack Marriott for individual performance of the League One weekend.
Is his name Dencili Sanchez Fernandez?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, it was some way to announce yourself. We see a lot of now, given the way that clubs recruit. It was a rarity that you would see kind of attacking players come in from European leagues into League One and League Two, and we're seeing it more often now. And often we get excited, and then it turns out that they aren't really suitable for it, and we don't hear much of them again. So it's refreshing and exciting to see one come in and make an impact immediately, and it was an immediate impact because Dencili Sanchez Fernandez scored 2 goals in the first half of his Huddersfield debut at home to AFC Wimbledon. The first, some really nice build-up play from Joe Taylor. Who is he finally going to just be Huddersfield striker, which he should be because he's brilliant. He gets on the ball just inside his own half, plays through Sanchez Fernandez, and if we're honest, it's a big keeper error. You know, it's not a great finish. He hits it kind of relatively okay with his left foot, but Nathan Bishop, the Wimbledon keeper, really shouldn't be letting it go. However, the second goal is pure quality. Linking up well with his old teammate Bronkhorst, who's playing right wing back, and Ryan Ledson. He gets on the ball in that right channel, shifts onto his left foot and fires the ball into the top left-hand corner. Now, I watched quite a lot of Dencili Sanchez Fernandez in the run-up to our 124s.
You're Excelsior home and away, aren't you?
When I got down a rabbit hole about him to watch him, and watching him, I got the goals he scored kind of big Cozier Dubry vibes in terms of this being his trademark finish, and this was such an Mario Cozier Dubry goal, just in the way that he moves, the way that he shifts onto his left foot, and the quality of the finish into the far corner. If he is able to make that a repeatable trick, it's very, very hard to defend against, and we know that it can be incredibly effective. So it should be exciting for Huddersfield fans. Now, who knows what would have happened in this game had Huddersfield not been brought down to 10 men. Barley Mumba sent off for a pretty late and reckless challenge. Yeah. I don't think he can have many complaints. It's one of those where if he's given a yellow, you probably have no complaints either, but he is very late. It looks like it's pretty reckless, and the referee makes the decision to bring Huddersfield down to 10 men. Wimbledon had a couple of chances after that. Jaden Stockley, their new striker, had a header that just went over the bar. They had a goal disallowed for offside with Marcus Brown in front of the keeper, and I think he actually got a touch on it anyway. And then on the counter, Huddersfield made the point safe. I absolutely loved that it was their right-sided centre-back Balka who delivered the cross for Radulovic to convert.
It's just all quite exciting. I don't want to get carried away, but there's a lot that I'm excited about here.
In a weekend where, despite Wednesday's win, and obviously they were decent, but certainly, as we'll go on to in a second, Leicester not looking great. Huddersfield and Stockport both scoring 3 goals and looking quite exciting is a big reminder to everyone that these are 2 really good teams with good players who could well be right up there.
Yeah, just the 2 for Bradford, but pretty solid 2-0 home win against Peterborough. Love the concept of starting your season with a 2-0 home win. Just really nice, solid 2-0 home win. It's the sort of thing that gets me going. First half was mostly Bradford pressure without the breakthrough, without creating tons and tons of chances, but certainly, in the ascendancy as you'd expect. And the pressure told after half time. Just as I was watching the highlights, having seen an Alex Bass save, and literally as I was thinking, God, I'm pretty down on Posh's squad, but Alex Bass is a good keeper, isn't he? The next highlight was a Bradford corner, which he came and completely missed, and Macaulay Gillespie was able to head into an empty net. Not ideal for Posh. 2-0 was Adam Phillips, new signing for Bradford from Barnsley. What do we know about Adam Phillips? He is a goal contribution merchant. The Bruno Fernandes of League One gets his first for Bradford. It's an assist rather than a goal, but we can expect those as well, setting up Nick Powell for 2-0. There was one big posh chance. Leonard poked onto the bar after nice play from the 17-year-old winger, Sheffield Wednesday, and Okabu getting sent off for a second yellow near the end as Bradford saw it out with relative ease. It's a solid win. It's broadly exactly what I kind of thought pitching these two teams pre-season. Peterborough had some flashes of excitement, but overall they look very thin, they look very young, they look a little bit flimsy, and this Bradford side is anything but that. They're very, very strong, they have experience, they have quality throughout the pitch, and Beasley started fairly encouragingly up front for them without scoring, but off the bench bringing Poynton, Adam Phillips, Nick Powell is just what it shows how much higher up the food chain they are than Peterborough right now, and I think that was reflected in the 2-0 scoreline. Really intriguing was the game between Cambridge and Wigan. We're fairly down on Wigan pre-season. We don't think the vibes are great, the atmosphere is great. We quite like Gary Caldwell, but we're not that convinced in the quality of the squad either. And Cambridge, coming up from League Two with Neil Harris, have made some choice additions to their team. Essentially, I was pitching this as, from a Cambridge point of view, if you're going to stay up this season, there's a good chance you're going to finish above Wigan in doing so, and vice versa. So how did it look? Well, Cambridge were 3-0 up after like 55 minutes. This was a blitz, a really good start to the season for them. Confidence flowing. That they really went at Wigan with a very aggressive game plan, and they found a sort of soft, fleshy underbelly, sadly for Wigan. Callum Watts putting them ahead from a set piece. Then Louis Appere scoring after a big Isaac Heath carry. What does Isaac Heath love to do? Carry the ball long distances. It's what he did for Accrington last season. Straight in on the left of the attack at Cambridge, doing it again. Love that. As I thought would be the case, he's not playing wing back in a 3-5 or in a 3-4-2-1. He's playing in one of those attack roles, and I think that makes the most sense for him in this team. He then scored as well, so a tap in at the back post for Heath, a really good start for their new young signing this summer. And it looked like it was game over, but Wigan got two back. Akeel Higgins came off the bench and had a massive impact. His shot hit the post, and Sonny Perkin just about bundled home the open goal. And then Higgins made it 3-2 as well. Cambridge, with the best defence in the EFL last season, they've just conceded 2 goals, getting tested at League One level, stood up to it from that point. Wigan didn't have a shot between the 73rd minute and full time, and Cambridge were able to kind of stop the storm and get over the line. So good vibes, a nice fresh feel to things as well with Cambridge. Like, got 6 starters, 24 and under here. The outside centre backs Perry and Jobe, the wing backs Bradshaw and Bennett, and then the attackers Heath and Knight. Feeling really good about this, and it was a strong start. Apart from that wobble when Wigan came back into things, Wigan, I'm just pretty down on it, and I can't get away from the fact that there's just negative energy surrounding Wigan Athletic from my point of view, from my perspective right now, and it's not great to see, and it does worry me for this season. I was pretty intrigued to see what Mansfield Doncaster would look like, George. 2 teams that we had in that kind of mid-table, top of the bottom half range, lots to like, but we couldn't quite have a much higher in the table. How did that game play out?
It's quite a game-statey game, I would say. Donny actually nearly took the lead after a Roberts error, kind of tried to clear and basically scuffed a goalkeeper clearance. It fell to Hutchinson, who tried to lob him, and it just went over the bar early on. But then Mansfield were on top for the most part. Really good Reese finish after some good work from Lucas Akins down the right-hand side to put Mansfield 1-0 up. A really good equaliser from Donny after half-time. A brilliant assist from Robbie Gotts, like a really well-disguised kind of straight ball, kind of cutting through 2 lines of defence, which Jack Senior finished off well to make it 1-1. Hanlon really nearly made it 2-1 shortly after that to Donny. After 59 minutes, missed a big chance, but that was Doncaster's last shot. After then, it was pressure from Mansfield, and a really bad goal for Doncaster to concede. A free kick just kind of between the corner flag and the penalty box. And Henry just rolls it to the edge of the area where Reed is there just to finish 3 bodies from the edge of the area. It's just so preventable. Really bad set-piece defending, especially in that moment of the game. And then Doncaster didn't really lay a glove on Mansfield after that. So, a win which Mansfield deserved. despite Doncaster will be ruining that missed opportunity from Hanlon after the goal.
One thing was clear from Stags fans: Liam Thompson, outstanding on debut. Obviously, they didn't do tons and tons of transfer business this summer, mainly keeping the same gang and adding a Michael Smith, a David McGoldrick, and it was Liam Thompson, their most recent signing from Derby, the midfielder, who really stood out there. Quite a few draws as well. Notts 1, Leicester 1. Notts County with a more than deserved equaliser 10 minutes from the end. It would have been a travesty had they not taken anything from this game. And in the first half, they were fairly comfortable defending, predictably. Leicester trying to build possession through the thirds. They didn't really let them do that. In fact, biggest moment in the first half was when Alex McCarthy took too long on the ball and Cooper tackled him, and his tackle flew off the bar. Could have gone in, could have been a bit of a Callum Slattery type goal. So unsurprisingly, I'd say, some teething issues with Leicester and Russell Martin's side of play. It's not something that makes me hugely concerned long term. This is kind of early season stuff, and it's really notable because errors at the very, very back in possession look horrendous, and they are punished with goals in general. What I would say is, if you watch all the goals from the EFL over the weekend, a lot of them, even if they didn't come from a goalkeeper being tackled or a short pass being given away at the back, loads of teams are still working some stuff out. Loads of teams are still giving away goals that they won't do in 10, 20 games. And so I'm not going to go overboard and say, this Martin's side of play is wrong for Leicester. I don't necessarily believe that, but it almost cost them there. Now, Leicester went ahead and it was a lovely goal. And the 3 players involved in the main, all Leicester City Academy players. I will love it if Leicester's double relegation and the bleak shape they're in gives rise to their academy, which is known for creating talent and bringing through talent. If we can see that on the pitch, that would be nice. Will Alves, who's had a couple of EFL loans and is now part of this Leicester squad, looked bright off the left in attack. Sammy Braybrook instantly looks sensational, which is no surprise to us based on his performances for Newport and Chesterfield on loan. The extra touch that he took in order to send the ball across into Jaden Joseph, the right back's shooting motion, was just that extra bit of quality that you don't often see. And Joseph smashed it in from the edge of the box. So they all looked good in the game. Joseph at right wing back, Braybrook in midfield, Alves on the left of the attack. Probably played better than most of Leicester's more kind of experienced, bigger name players. But they couldn't get over the line because Notts came at them. Great Cerula cross from the right. Big Emil Aqua headed onto the post, and it landed at the feet of Connor Grant, who actually took a beautiful first touch.
So good.
Amazing composure, and then matched it with a nice finish to equalise. So fully deserved, no doubt about that. Did we get some Notts County tweets over the weekend that they were one of the angriest fan bases after the 1-24s?
I put them up to win on the betting show.
Yeah. Unlucky loser.
Come on, lads.
I'd say. I'm not hugely surprised that it looked like this. It's certainly not a climb down from me yet on Notts and our placement in the 1-24s. I think this is a really good time to play against Leicester. I think it's a good time to play against Burnley and West Ham and Wolves in the Championship. That doesn't mean those teams, and like Leicester, shouldn't still be favourites or among the favourites to win the league. It doesn't mean that they won't be among the favourites to play the league. It's a good time to play these teams who are still working things out, whereas Notts, they are a good team as well. Like, promoted teams generally look decent to start the season and relegated teams often don't. This is not a great surprise that the match looked like this. It's a 46-game season. We might end up looking stupid about Notts, but a 1-1 draw against Leicester isn't the one necessarily that makes me go like, oh my God.
And as we said at the time, often newly promoted clubs start seasons well, and then smaller squads, fatigue, anything else, just quality, whatever it might be.
That was the crux of it, wasn't it? It's questions about the quality and depth over 46 games at a new level.
Let's see.
We can only see.
We are going to find out.
We'll find out. Tell me about Oxford 2, Milton Keynes 2, George Alec. I was really interested to see what this one was going to look like.
It was topsy and it was turvy.
Wow. That's what you want.
Oxford started well, I'm led to believe. I missed the first 7 minutes of the game because I was on a train. So Paddington was chaos on Saturday because I was on a train that went through Didcot and Oxford, where Oxford were playing. But then it also went through Reading, where Luton were playing.
Yeah.
Also ended up in Bristol,
where
Millwall were playing. So I was on a train full of Millwall and Luton fans. That was good fun. And the announcer said, we're not going to be leaving this train. The train is going to leave for 20 minutes. So I looked on the app and saw there was another train leaving in 10 minutes. So I got off the train. As soon as I got off the train, the doors closed and it pulled away.
Oh, Oh, they've done you.
So that was annoying. So I ended up missing the first 5 or 10 minutes. Anyway, but I'm told we were good in that time. When Mark Harris scored, it was relatively fortunate that it fell to him, but a really good finish from Harris, and delighted for him that he's got an early goal, because we know that he's a big confidence player, but he does love scoring goals in August. And then stuff happens in September that seems to change that. But then after Oxford scored, MK were just sensational for the rest of the first half.
Yeah.
Relentlessly just dropping balls into the 6-yard box. Barlasser and Wintle just had complete control of the midfield. Nombe pressed relentlessly. He is going to be so good for them in terms of what he offers as just a pressing machine, running in behind. He'll score goals as well, I've got no doubt. Perfect partner for Aaron Collins, who scored the second goal. The first came, I don't know if it was a Charlie Good goal or an own goal. Kind of both of them just headers, basically just being dominant in the 6-yard box.
Yeah, I had to check that it was definitely Aaron Collins playing up front for MK, because it seems very clear to me that he's been on a Paul Warne weights program. He used to be quite spindly, and now he looks jacked.
It was the same with, I remember, Kane Wilson at Derby. Like if you are a kind of lanky player that plays under Paul Warne for 2 years, then you are going to get bigger. And at half time at 2-1, I thought a few things. I thought this MK Dons team are going to be one of the best teams in the league, which I still think might be the case. I also thought it could get quite ugly for Oxford if the game continued to progress in the way that it was going, but it didn't, thankfully. I mean, what I would say is, even though Oxford dominated territory for quite a lot of the second half and had some good chances and played some really nice stuff, there were still a couple of big opportunities for MK at the other end. Collins had another header that hit the woodwork. Mendes Lang was played through, and rather than shoot, he tried to square it, and again got the pass completely wrong. So it wasn't like MK couldn't have killed the game off, but Oxford had chances too. A couple that kind of whistled wide, a lot of block shots. Oxford's bench looks very thin at the moment, and that was a concern of mine. So seeing Gatlin O'Donker come on and lead the line really well and provide the assist for the goal. Mo Masanga, an 18-year-old winger who came on and looked really lively off that left-hand side, cutting onto his right foot. The changes actually were okay in the end, and the goal came from Kieran Brown right at the end of the game, 95th minute. Jubilant scenes for an Oxford fan base who've had a pretty difficult summer coping with the embargo. Stan Mills, Aaron Ramsey confirmed after the game, texted him in the morning of the game when he was set to be in the squad and said he couldn't do it. Brian de Keersmacher not included in the squad because Ramsey says he's not fit because he hasn't played a minute of football or pre-season. Those are two players that I basically know are two of the best players in the whole league. So hopefully we can find a way to integrate them back into the team, but it feels like it might be hard to do that whilst the window is still open. But Oxford's stance remains unchanged. There is no reason for them and no interest for them to sell players in this window because they cannot replace them.
Mo Masanga.
But yeah, I mean, MK, like, signs of what Ramsey wants to do with Oxford, excited to see how that progresses. MK showed in a half an hour period that if that's going to be the kind of performance they can put in regularly, they're going to be a big force.
I like that Mo Masanga had 3 shots in the game, all from about the same sort of metre squared part, left-hand side of the box, all of them blocked.
And what I would say is, even though he is a small in stature, his ball striking looks, he can kick a hard ball.
Oh, nice. So that's exciting.
A good thing to be able to do.
Couple of 1-1 draws to finish. Blackpool 1, Wycombe 1. Blackpool, the home side, made the running, I would say, for most of this game, but were behind within 10 minutes. A Fred Onyedinma near post header from a corner. Not a great surprise with Blackpool missing a lot of centre-backs, Horsfall and Hikwe mainly. Strong penalty box defenders in short supply in their squad at the moment, as is the case at the top of the pitch as well, where my main wish for Blackpool pre-season was that they don't suffer big injury crisis, and it already feels like they kind of have one at the back and at the top of the pitch. The team's performance was still pretty good between both boxes. The general flow of the game was tangerine, I'd say. Lots of pressure, lots of frustrating finishing, frustrating final balls. They have Killian Kouassi and CJ Hamilton playing in attack. It's crazy. This is a squad that has Dion Charles, Dale Taylor, Niall Ennis, Tom Bloxham. Charles and Bloxham came off the bench but weren't fit to start. Taylor and Ennis both out for weeks. They've also got Josh Bowler, and he was bright here. They've got in midfield Karoy Anderson and Albie Morgan. They got some love for their performance in midfield, and they did get the equaliser And it was a new boy, Finn Munro, who was so good at Swindon last season, first half of the season, at left back. He's left wing back off the bench, blocks another sub, got to the byline, cut it across, and Munro smashed in for a 1-1 draw, which I think is what Blackpool deserved there. Burton won, Stevenage won. Quite a poor game, really, in which not a huge amount was happening until Jack Armour scored in the second half. Nice backheel assist from the 17-year-old midfielder Suleiman Krubali that I wrote about on a piece on NTT20.com recently, highlighting the most exciting academy graduates that I think are going to kick on this season. We had Nabizada of Watford in there, good start to the season for him. We had Suleiman Krubali in there, good start to the season for him. But Stevenage levelling, possibly not deserving it on what was a pretty underwhelming Stevenage performance, but they got the equaliser, finished by Sanderson, set up by Josh McGuinness. Their two new summer signings up at the top of the pitch, combining to equalise for them. Probably the most notable thing outside of the goals for me was Stevenage gave away a big chance playing short from the back into Daniel Phillips in midfield, dropping in. Now, instinctively hated to see it, hated what happened, almost resulted in a goal for Burton. I don't remember them ever playing a short pass into Daniel Phillips dropping deep last season, and I dare say that won't happen much again, and I think that's probably a good call. So that's the end of the League One recap segment, brought to you by Loaded. Intriguing opening weekend in which we are particularly impressed with Stockport County and Huddersfield Town. Cheers for listening. Go well.